What's going on, guys? We're back here checking out this Raspberry Pi 4. Now, last time we did the heat sinks, we installed them on to see what kind of better temperatures we got, but of course it did about the same. We can throw up a graph right here, and as you can see, the heat sinks did help out. It absorbed the heat coming from that CPU, but once it got saturated, we were in the same position and we got the same heats that we got last time, or the same temperature. So today what we're going to do is check out whether installing an actual fan into this housing, since this of course is a screened Raspberry Pi where it has a screen right on top here, and then you flip it back over, the Raspberry Pi is installed on the actual screen. So I don't have any mounting screws that I want to put the screen or the fan on, so I'm going to have to decide how I'm going to mount this on here. And we take a look at it on the back side. This is where the actual back mounts up, and on the front this is going to be the actual screen. So I'm thinking mount the fan on the back. That way I can pull in cool air, is going to be the thought, and then it exhausts from these ports that it has on the top, and it looks like just the top. So the bottom is going to be where the I/O shield is, and the other side we got nothing. So the project today is going to be to mount a fan on the back side of here somehow and actively cool this Raspberry Pi. So my train of thought to mount this fan onto this Pi is right here. I don't have anything on this side to mount it to, so I'm going to have to use some screws that came with it, it looks like, to mount it right in here. So I can cut out this part, drill some holes, screw it in, and then tap into the Raspberry Pi's positive and negative, and we should be able to get electricity to the fan to cool the CPU. Now about 20 minutes later, I was able to get this fan fitted up to the back of the housing. After 4 holes drilled in, I was able to get it mounted down, and if you look on the back, we got the bolts and the nuts right here. So the next part of the installation is actually put it all back together. We'll test it afterwards and check how our temperatures are doing. So with this one, all you need to do is drop it right in and come to the back right here, and you can see the I/O shield pretty much. You make sure it just lines up, and you can put it down. That way on this part, I have these 2 posts right here. They go into these 2 holes, and they drop it down right into here. And that's why when I mounted the fan, I planned for these going this way, so it can go on to the actual pin board right here. So now I'm going to have to wire these up. We'll go back to our wiring diagram and find out what is the 5-volt pin, and I'll need to find a ground also for the fan. So next I'm going to have to go into the wiring diagram for this Raspberry Pi 4 and look for a 5-volt pin, and I'll also need a ground, and I'll be able to wire this fan up, and hopefully I can try placing it on, get those posts in, and it feels like there's no resistance, and these bolts are not hitting anything, or screws you can call them, aren't hitting anything on the interior. So we'll have to go back to our wiring diagram, check which one of these pins is a 5-volt, we'll find a ground, and that way it'll power it when it's turned on and cool the CPU. Now for the wiring, as you can see over on the left side, maybe the right for you, we're going to have to do a little bit of changes to be able to get these to all fit. Before, we had a pin on 2 and 6 is going to be my 5-volt and my ground. But I have to move this ground over so I can get my next second 5-volt in, and we'll have to ground this one on another ground, which looks like it's going to be number 14, and then the second ground is going to go onto pin number 20. So with the first ground out, as you can see, I'm going to count them down. That's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 right here. my 5-volt is going to go on pin number 2, or actually pin number 4, second pin on the evens. And then the second ground is going to go on to 20. So we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and pin number 20 right here. So we're going to check one last time, check the chart. So count them out. Pin number 2, positive 5 volt. Pin number 4, positive 5 volt. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 is going to be a ground. 16, 18, and 20 is going to be my second ground. So now with that all wired up, I can go ahead, fit it on, make sure I have no clearance issues, and go ahead and try and boot this thing up. Now power connected, fan is spinning, and is definitely pushing on the inside, blowing into the enclosure. And we flip it over. The Raspberry Pi is booting up. And now, just as last time, I'll run a stress test to get the temps of the CPU. And there we go. Instantly as last time, we got better results. And there we go. Awesome results. So if you're going to use your Raspberry Pi for periods of time or for demanding loads, you're going to definitely want a fan on it. Without as stock or even with the heat sinks, you're going to run into thermal throttling problems. But with the fan, you're going to keep it at a very manageable temperature for prolonged periods of time.